Good morning, everybody. It is my great pleasure to be here today in Moscow, a country where we've launched our service quite recently, actually, and to share with you the positive impacts of our activity and to show how a sharing economy at large and also the activity we do, which is ride-sharing, long-distance ride-sharing, has positive impacts on many, many aspects. So the first thing, I'll go back to exactly what we do. So we are a people-powered travel solution, meaning people helping each other. We have drivers who have empty seats in their cars. They are offering the seats for sharing the cost with passengers going the same way. So they are not only sharing costs, they're also having fun in the car. And also it has positive impacts on the environments, as we will see. So basically what Blablacar is, it's a combination of a travel search engine and a community, a trusted community that provides a service to each other. So, of course, we're available on all mobile phones and on the web. We started on the web, and of course, now like everything is happening on mobile. The activity itself is just sharing costs. So, like, for example, when you see drivers alone spending a lot of money, then not only it costs them a lot of money, but also, as you can see from this picture, it can get boring. And so, thanks to the fact that they're able to share, they're able to share the cost and also have nice discussions, and it makes the trip more enjoyable. We have a lot of people who join actually for the savings, and they stay because it's so much better to not travel alone when you do long distances, so they enjoy traveling that way. So you divide the price, of course, by the number of people you have in the car. So those prices are really, really low compared to any other alternative, because actually it's based on cost sharing. So you divide the cost by the number of people you have. So why is it important and why is it picking up that much? Actually, we've made some calculations. So I took an example of one country because it's easier to make a calculation. If you take one country and one cost that you have per car. So if you account for everything in the cost of owning and maintaining a car per year, so you count for the gas, the tolls when you have some, the depreciation of the vehicle, which is actually huge because you buy your car like for 20K and you sell it for 10K, so you've lost a few K a year. If you account for insurance, repairs, parking fees, sometimes speed tickets, then the total bill per year is 5,000 to 6,000 euros per car in France and in most European cities, and then you can calculate, but it's roughly in the range of a few thousand euros per year. Then you multiply that by the number of cars. In France, there are 38 million cars. If you do 5,000 euros times 38 million cars, you're at 200 billion euros per year, which is 10% of France's GDP. So it means we are spending 10% of the GDP to actually maintain, own, and run the cars in France. And then you do the other calculation about the usage. So, you know, cars are stopped a lot of the time, and a lot is like really a lot, because the statistics show that 96% of the time cars are stopped. Then you're left with 4%, and 0.5% is spent in traffic jams. 0.8% is spent looking for a place to park. And then you're left with 2.7% of the time driving from point A to point B, which is what the car was meant for. And then when it runs 3 times out of 4, you only have one driver on board. So we're using 1/4 of 2.7% of a resource that's costing us 10% of the GDP. That's why there is so much optimization to go and grab. And that's why as soon as we bring a new solution to actually share this resource, we scratch the surface and then we see amazing results. So if you do that worldwide, it's almost 3,000 billion euros per year, which are spent in maintaining the cars, and we're using them about 1% of what we could. So it goes back to the previous talk where we saw like all the optimization that we can do in cities. So, but now how this new way of actually sharing cars has a positive impact on many things. So we've made again, so we like the concepts, but we like data more. So we went and did a lot of surveys to know exactly what it is and what are the impacts of our activity. So it has positive impacts on environment, social behavior, and world trust. And so for environment, the idea is that we counted the amount of energy that it saves. So first, the rationale behind it, of course, is that we have more people per car, so we have less cars than if everybody was traveling with car or with other means of solution. Since the seats are empty, it's better to have people in it than to have nobody. So the ratio is that in the cars and Blablacar, you have 2.8 people per car, compared to 1.7 in average on long distance rides. So the distances we do basically are in between 200 and 400 kilometers mainly. In Russia, it's more, the average is more 400 kilometers. And in other countries, it may be 300 kilometers. So it's really long distance city to city where people share their rides. And then if you amount the total of energy that is saved, we calculated that in less than 2 years, actually, Blablacar has saved enough energy to light St. Petersburg for a full year, which is quite a lot of energy. And this is only the beginning, because you will see later on we have some curves about how the movement is picking up, and you'll see that the amount of energy we can save is tremendous. Then it has positive impacts on social behaviors. So we did lots of surveys. So we conducted a survey with 14,000 people answering. So just on the growth of the community, now BlaBlaCar has more than 20 million members. As you can see, the project really started in 2005, 2006. So we spared you like the sickness of the line, the time we find the product market fit, you know, this startup phase that entrepreneurs love so much. And then we found the product market fit, and then we were able to grow the activity because there was some traction, because we had a business model, and when we were able to expand the activity. So now it's growing super fast, and it's more than 20 million members. We're in 19 countries. This year only, we've opened in 7 new countries. We had opened the service in Russia last year, and it's picking up super well in Russia as well. Russia is a huge country, so like the distances as well are huge. And then if we go back to the impacts, so we did a survey with 14,000 respondents in more than 10 countries to have like a real impact of what it is. And so we had this feedback from everybody that 61% of the people say ride sharing represents actually something which is really social and friendly. So for them, it's a better way to travel because they're able to actually discuss and have fun along the way. We had some feedbacks about the fact that they remain fully awake. So it's a good thing, because for safety, it's better to be fully awake than to be asleep. You know that half of the accidents that happen on the highways happen because people fall asleep. So if you are able to keep people awake, then you reduce the number of accidents. And so it keeps them more alert because they're discussing, and they're sometimes, you know, the first thing that people get when they do ride sharing is that sometimes they earn money, well, they save money, but the thing is they also tell you about the people they've met. I mean, they will tell you that they met John, who explained about his trip to India, and he has explained many things, or you've made a yoga teacher, and then you've made some new friends, and so it keeps them awake. And then the next thing is that they carefully respect the rules because there is a rating system. And I'll come back to that right after, because the rating system and the trust that we are building in the community is front and central in the fact that the community is growing with lots of people sharing and being able to trust each other. And so since you know that you are rated at the end of the ride, you respect the rules better, because if you get a bad rating, it means the next time it will be harder for you to have passengers. So it creates a good behavior, a positive behavior as well. Still on this topic of reinforcing good behaviors, the way people drive is really influenced by the fact that their ratings will be something they will carry with them in the future. And so it encourages them to have a safer way of driving as well. And all those statistics, which are super high numbers, show that actually the simple fact that there is a community of people sharing and trusting each other brings much better behaviors, because you know that what you do today has an impact for tomorrow, which means you will behave accordingly to better social standards. And then the last point which is probably the most important in the community, is that we are building some kind of new trust in the community, a way for people to share and grow together. And that's, to me, it's the most fascinating point in everything we're building. So again, we have concepts. So we've been able to build trust over the years based on the feedbacks that people were giving us. They were helping us shaping the product so that they feel more comfortable. So they wanted more information. They wanted us to check some other things. They wanted us to modify the product so that they feel more at ease when using it. So we had a lot of feedback loops with all our members. We're listening to them all the time. And then in the end, we made a theory of understanding what were the parameters that were building trust at scale. And so it's actually the first time in history that tech is able to build trust on a huge scale. And we came up with this model, which we call DREAMS. The DREAMS model is actually, it represents the 6 pillars of trust that people need to have in order to trust someone else. So it's all the information you want to have in order to trust someone you've never met. So when you register, you want to have some information which is declared, rated, engaged, active, moderated, and social. So what does it mean? Declared is like your first name, last name, picture, your preferences. Rated is when people actually rate each other. We talked about that. Engaged is like when you commit to coming tomorrow at 6 for the appointment. So it can come through online booking system, but also through online mechanisms so that people really commit that they will come. So it brings more trust. Active is the fact that you know the person logged yesterday and 92% of the time they answer to their messages. It brings an additional level of trust. Moderated is like the work of the platform itself, because we moderate all contents to make sure that actually everything that is published has a purpose for ride sharing, and it's a trustworthy content. We also check phone numbers, we check bank accounts, and we do some moderation in the community, and we answer to everyone who contacts us. And social is the fact that you are able to link your profile with Vcontacte or Facebook or LinkedIn. And when you see a profile and you know that the person has 362 friends, then the level of trust goes higher. And so all this added together makes it so that you're able to have a picture of the person you will be meeting, and your level of trust goes up tremendously. So we've made studies again on a survey, this time on 18,000 members replying to the survey in 14 countries, because we had done the survey like 2 years ago, but it was only on French people, and so people told us, yes, but your data is only for French people. So we said, okay, we'll come back with some more data for like in 14 countries, which we've done. And so on this, we asked people, so what is your level of trust on a scale from 0 to 5? Towards several categories of people. So what's your level of trust towards a stranger? What's your level of trust towards a Facebook contact or Vcontact contact? Your neighbors, your colleagues, your friends and family. And as you can see, it ranges from 1 to 4.7. Actually, friends and family members are the highest, of course. There is a slight difference between friends and family, but I won't enter into this debate because like the statistics showed that friends were a bit higher than family, but like very, very small. So, but anyway, it's around 4.7. And as you can see, then of course we were interested in knowing how much trust do you have towards someone you've never met, which is none of those persons, and someone who is registered on Blablacar with a full profile with all the information, the DREAMS information. And this is where it's very, very interesting, because we reach a level of trust which is unparalleled before. It's 4.3. So online, people are able to trust on a scale from 0 to 5 up to 4.3, which is more than neighbors and colleagues, and it's almost as much as friends and family members. So it is super high. It is a new energy. I truly believe that it's a new energy for the 21st century. We now, thanks to the tools we have and the communities we have, we're able to build trust between people who've never met, which means you can create new interactions between those people. It has never happened before. And so this will fuel most probably a lot of sharing economy projects in the next decades. And so when you see that and you see that it's happening at scale and you see the power of building more trust blocks along the years, of course, when we started, so like in 2005, 2009, we had some level of trust, but not as strong as today. Then we added new features every year. And now we're to the full Dreams model and we're able to scale internationally. And this is what is really impressive with the growth. It's that people now trust each other on a worldwide scale. And they're able to trust people from any country just thanks to the tools that we are providing them. And so to finish, I have a video that will show you how it gets developed now in Russia and in Europe, and you'll be able to see that we are developing the activity quite well now in Russia. It's a short video, so you'll be able to see. So each dot on the map is actually a car, and so some people traveling. And so you can see that you have rides that go all the way from Vladivostok to Tomsk and Novosibirsk, and then Moscow, St. Petersburg. And then you'll see that, of course, for now, since we started from Western Europe, we're way more developed in Western Europe than we are in Russia for now. But you can see that it's growing, so it's only one day of rides on Blablacar, and you can see that people are traveling all the way from the west of Spain to Vladivostok thanks to Blablacar. We also have an activity in India and Mexico. It's not shown on the map, but it's really something that is getting developed on a worldwide scale. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Frederic. This was very interesting. I have two questions. One question is a practical one. I know when you moved to Russia, you purchased a Russian company, Podorozhnik, something you didn't do in other countries. So the question is why? And I'll give you the second question right away. It's such an exciting idea. Did you ever think of expanding the idea of sharing economy into other areas?
Okay, so regarding the first question, we partnered, yes, with Podorozhnik, and the team who joined us, including Alexei, who was the founder of Podorozhnik, is now part of Blablacar as a whole. At Blablacar, we have more than 50 people who have been entrepreneurs or will be entrepreneurs. I mean, it's a very entrepreneurial company. We're almost 400 people in the company today, and we have this spirit, this startup spirit, with a lot of entrepreneurs. And the way we build our network is by partnering with entrepreneurs from all over the world. We've actually done that several times, not only for Russia and Ukraine, but also for other countries. For example, for Mexico or for Poland, we also have entrepreneurs who've been joining us and building Blablacar on a worldwide scale in this entrepreneurial spirit. So we do that when we expand, because the added value, of course, for everybody is that we get a fully operational team with people who are highly motivated about building this network. Also, since they are local in their country, then they know everybody in the space, and they know the ecosystem, and they know everything you need to know to grow the activity. So for us, it's a plug-and-play solution to expand faster. So that answers your first questions. And then regarding the possibility with the trust we build to actually do something else, of course we think about it, but it's really not for now, because for now we have the challenges of a growing startup, which is we have to absorb growth and to make it happen on a larger scale. So the first thing is to reach scale, and then you'll see if you can diversify. What I used to say is that growing is just like accelerating in a car, and then diversification is like turning the wheel. You shouldn't do both at the same time. So you accelerate first, and then you turn the wheel later on. But if you do both at the same time, it can be a bit dangerous.
Can you give us an idea of where it could go from here?
You name it. I mean, we have tens of millions of people who are helping each other on a daily basis. What can people do when they help each other? I mean, they can do anything.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was great.
Bye-bye.